So Anthropic just dropped Claude Fable 5, aka the public version of Mythos. The model they said was too powerful to fully release, and within hours, people were using it to build entire 3D worlds, playable games, and full apps from a single prompt. So today I'm going to show you the most insane things people are creating with this model. Alright, so first up, we are going to look at a recreation of Minecraft by Claude Fable. Now, the thing here is, this is a very good benchmark to see exactly how capable this new model is going to be. This was created by a user named Angel, and he used Claude Fable Max to build this specific Minecraft clone, entirely using HTML code. And as you can see, the game looks pretty amazing. It has almost all the functionalities of the normal Minecraft game. The colors here are great, the game doesn't look bad at all, and the shaders are actually pretty cool. Even the movement feels very Minecraft-like. Now, there are still some minor problems, like the hand of the character being transparent, but the main takeaway here is that creating this entire game costs the user around just $30 in API usage. This is a complete game, with all the functionality and features that you'd expect. Obviously, it could be even better if he had spent a bit more money and used more prompts to iterate on the game, but it is still quite an impressive feat. Claude Fable, also known as Mythos 5, has other mind-blowing capabilities too, like it literally beat the Pokemon Fire Red game using just screenshots, no other tools, no help, no minimap coordinates, and no memory hacks, and it still beat the entire game in just 50 minutes. That is very impressive to think about, especially given that previous models couldn't even finish the game, and if they somehow could, it would have taken them an incredibly long time. Here's another really cool game that Claude Fable created. So the user here prompted the model to create a Pokemon clone, and the model completely generated this specific game. It took around 1 hour of reasoning and generated 8,000 lines of code. And keep in mind, this game was one shot, just a single prompt, and this was the output. The most incredible thing about this game is that all 151 Gen 1 Pokemon are present here, with real front and back sprites, party icons, actual cries, real base stats, types, level up movesets, evolutions, and even catch rates and growth curves. And again, this was done using just one prompt. The improvement rate of these models is just insane. And here's another really impressive thing Mythos 5 created, this visualizer along with the melody, which it generated entirely using code. Just listen to it for a bit. As you can see, it is really good with the visual animations, and the melody here is actually quite soothing to listen to, so this model is clearly very capable of creating music visualizations and things like that as well. And just to give you an idea of how fast AI models are improving, here's a comparison between GPT-5, which was released around 10 months ago, and Claude Fable 5. The difference is honestly incomprehensible to me. At the time, GPT-5 was this incredible new frontier of models. Everybody was so excited for it and thought it was really smart, but now it's like GPT-5 is a dumb kid in comparison to Claude Fable 5. The AI world is evolving so fast that I literally cannot comprehend the speed of model growth anymore. Also, here's another example of a one-shot game created using the model, a clone of Call of Duty Zombies. The craziest fact here is that the user who created it said they used no plan mode and had zero back and forth with Claude, just one prompt. As I said, the exact prompt was literally, make a COD zombie clone, single player, and make the shooting feel good. That was it. From that singular prompt, Mythos 5 created this, and as you can see, it is pretty amazing to look at, and the actual feel of the game is surprisingly good. Claude 5 is also incredibly good at creating websites. This is a one-shot website that Claude Fable created to introduce itself, like a self-told untold story of Fable, and as you can see, the site looks beautiful, to say the least. The feel of the website is insanely premium, and the interaction of the cursor with the page is just amazing. A site like this would easily cost around $10,000 to make manually, but Claude Fable made it in just one prompt. I also really love the typographical layout here, which is very modern and minimalistic, and the effects on the images are spot on. Another really cool thing about Claude is that this model is great with animation. Here is an example of an animation that it made. Now, this isn't a website, this is a motion graphics video. It was created using this AI model alongside hyperframes, which is basically a tool that lets these models generate code, and then turns that code into a video that can be rendered for motion graphics. As you can see, this specific motion graphic looks very cool. Obviously, there are a few minor caveats, but those could easily be fixed with one or two follow-up prompts. Here's another example of a motion graphics video created by Claude Mythos 5 using hyperframes. The model probably also used 11 Labs to generate the voiceover for the video.
Today we're launching Claude Fable 5, a Mythos class model, made safe for general use. Its capabilities exceed any model we've ever made, generally available state-of-the-art on nearly all tested benchmarks. In early testing, Stripe compressed months of engineering into days of 50 million line migration, finished in one. On Cognition's frontier code, Fable 5 scores highest among frontier models even at medium effort, the highest score of any model on Hebbia's finance benchmark.
This entire video was created by the model itself, without any human intervention, other than the initial prompt, of course. Everything else was done by the AI, and as you can see, this is insanely cool. I never would have thought a model would be able to do something like this in such a short period of time. Here's another example of a website that Claude Fable created. This also looks incredible. Honestly, everything this model makes is just visually impressive. Also, this model is able to create these insane 3D worlds. The world you're seeing right now was created by Claude Fable 5. It was custom built using 3.js and is completely running inside of a web browser. I have to say, this is utterly insane. The realism here is pretty good, and keep in mind, this was probably made by Claude in just one single prompt. Now, some people have a bit of a problem with the pricing of the model. They think it is too expensive, and for some people, it actually is. It is currently only available to the public on the Claude plan until June 12th. After June 12th, it switches to usage-based credits, meaning you'll need to pay for usage separately from your main Claude subscription. But what people don't realize is that Claude Fable is actually significantly cheaper compared to its predecessors, especially when you factor in its intelligence. For example, running the older Claude Opus 4.1 models was much more expensive. The cost of running Opus 4.1 was $15 per million input tokens and $75 per million output tokens, which is very expensive, and even then, it was nowhere near as smart as Claude Fable in any way, shape, or form. Fable is also much cheaper than GPT 5.5 Pro, which has a $30 input per million tokens, and an eye-watering price of $180 output per million tokens. Meanwhile, Claude Fable is only $10 for input and $50 for output. That makes it literally 70% cheaper than GPT 5.5 Pro. You also have to take into account that Claude Fable is at least a few times better than GPT 5.5 Pro, while being 70% cheaper, and compared to Opus 4.8, Fable is fundamentally more cost-effective. Just look at the new Frontier Code Diamond benchmark, the new gold standard for testing these models. Opus 4.8 scores only 13.4%, whereas Claude Fable 5 scores around 30%. That is literally a massive jump in reasoning, so I genuinely think the price of the model is much better than expected and completely justified for the power you're getting. Alright, that is about it for today's video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.